Today I'm going to show you how to draw and paint a watercolor card. These are 5" by 7" Canson Montval French-made watercolor paper cards that I buy in boxes of 30. And I love making hand-painted watercolor cards to give away. So whenever anybody purchases an original painting from me, I always send them a hand-painted card with a nice message, and I put their certificate of authenticity inside the card. It's just a nice little touch and something special I can do. So I'm using my TWSBI Diamond 580 refillable ink pen. This one has a broad nib, and I'm just very loosely drawing this beautiful waterfall called Akaka Falls. This waterfall is located on the Big Island of Hawaii, and it's on the Hilo side, a little further up the coast towards the north end of the island. And I've been to it many times, and it's always beautiful to visit. And I thought it would be the perfect subject for a very loose interpretation where we can play with colors and not have to spend too much time on a serious detailed drawing. So I'm just putting a few strokes of ink to indicate some color in the foreground and some flowers. And you can see the strokes for the waterfall. I always sign my name before I begin the painting. So I'll put that down here. And I always write on the back of the card a title for the painting. So this one is just going to be Akaka Falls, Hilo. And then I usually write a hand-painted watercolor card by Kristen, Olson, Stoone. So you can do whatever you want. Some people even like to write a little paragraph if the place is significant. I'll be using a Silverbrush Black Velvet brush today. This is a number 6. And I'm painting with Rembrandt paints, of course, my favorite. And this is a set of 24. And I just love this set. It's really versatile and practical and beautiful. So I'm starting with cerulean blue, and I'm going to put just some nice lengthy strokes of cerulean blue, and then I want to have a more violet blue, so I'm going to use some ultramarine, and I'll put a few strokes of ultramarine on the outer sides of the waterfall. Very easy, pretty strokes. Now notice I left a lot of white, and this is purposeful because of course the waterfall needs to look like the water's flowing, and so I need some white left in between for that. I'm also going to add some purple. So I've used mauve and mixed it with the ultramarine, and I'm letting those colors mix together on the card. One thing about this paper is you don't want to have to go over and over again. You want to sort of put the paint down and leave it, and it's actually very wonderful. This paper is very wonderful for letting colors mix around on the surface. It has quite a bit of sizing, and so the paint tends to sit on top of the paper more, and that allows for beautiful places where you can let the colors just sort of dance around together and do their watercolor thing. Now I've added gamboge to sap green. This was sap green. And I'm just putting these colors down loose and free, happy, beautiful colors. I want to have variety, so I'm going to pick up a warmer yellow now. This is Azo Yellow Deep, and I'm just kind of moving around the sides of this waterfall. It's a very tall, thin waterfall, and like most of the falls in Hawaii, it's on a cliff. Now I'm picking up some phthalo green and mixing it with manganese blue. I've got yellow greens, but now I want to have some more blue greens. So I'm just kind of putting these here and there around the waterfall. And I'm going to put some down closer to the bottom. So I don't want to have each side be the same. I want to have some variety. Now I'm going to go in with some mauve and permanent red violet. I'm going to put some strokes of mauve paint in here and there, and some on this side and this side. and over here. So you'll notice where they're mixing with some of the warmer yellow, I'm almost getting like a burnt sienna, or excuse me, burnt umber color. Just kind of mixing very beautifully, but I'm still leaving lots of white. So now I'm going to jump down into the front. So I'm going to pick up cadmium yellow and I'm going to mix it with azo yellow deep because I want a slightly warmer yellow for these bright yellow flowers in the foreground. So I'm just not painting flowers, I'm just painting splashes of yellow. Now for the red, I'm going to pick up cadmium red. You could use permanent red or any red that you like, but I've got a nice bright, very luminous cadmium red. So this is not cadmium red light, it's just cadmium red. And I'm definitely wanting to leave some space for some green because I want to put some green leaves around the flowers, but my intention here is just to put some bright, beautiful flowers right in the foreground, just like that. So while that's drying, I'm going to go and work on the top of the painting. I wouldn't want to put the green on now because if the green were to mix with the red, if I were to accidentally let the colors touch, then I would end up with gray because green and red are complements. And when you mix complementary colors together, you get gray. So I want to have my greens definitely be separate from the reds. So this is ultramarine blue and permanent red violet. And I just want to kind of indicate a soft, rainy mountain in the distance. And I want that to come across the back of the waterfall. But I also want to have a really dark stroke of paint somewhere around the top of the waterfall and just behind it, just to make it really pop. And I'm letting those colors bleed into each other because soft edges recede and create depth. So if I let that dark bleed into the mountain, I'll get a nice soft edge. I'm going to pull that dark across the back of the waterfall and over to the other side, just like that. And I really like how that dark's looking, so I'm going to add a couple more strokes of dark paint on this side of the waterfall, down here. So there are these deep ridges that are horizontal next to the waterfall. I guess because it's lava rock that the cliffs are made of, and they just somehow develop these deep horizontal ridges. But the nice thing about it from an artistic standpoint is that the dark really emphasizes the light on the waterfall and really makes it pop. You can really see it now that it's got this sort of dark paint around it. Now I'm going to put in the sky. I'm going to use just cobalt blue for the sky. And I'm going to just put a little bit of it at the top like that, very lightly. I'm going to rinse my brush and come back in with just a little water and soften the bottom edge. You could tape off the sides of these cards if you wanted to and have a neater looking edge, but I just tend to not bother with that. I want to put a little bit of yellow here just to brighten it up, but I'm using quite a bit of water and I don't want to take away from the yellow in the foreground, but I kind of like the look of the yellow on the outside of it. Now I'm going to drop in some permanent green, like that. I just want this nice kind of warm, greeny yellow, very tropical looking outer border to this painting. Now I'm going to put the greens in the foreground. So I'm going to use sap green and permanent green together. And just going to make an indication, a few brush strokes of green, kind of making my brush strokes, thinking of leaves, stems, and so on. Just like that. And now I'll put in a little more of the permanent green. Take a little bit of this yellow that I've got here. I think I want a little more yellow in the green. So I'm picking up some more gamboge. And now we have a beautiful painting of Akaka Falls. If you haven't already done so, please take a minute to leave a comment, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.